The nation is paying last respects to George H.W. Bush. Thousands of mourners came together at the Washington National Cathedral to remember the nation's 41st president. Bush's biographer referred to him as the last great soldier statesman and a 20th century founding father. Take a look.
I am the resurrection and I am the life, says the Lord. Whoever has faith in me shall have life, even though he die.
He recognized that serving others enriched the giver's soul. To us, his was the brightest of 1,000 points of light.
I can't believe the hopes.
6'2", handsome, dominant in person, President Bush spoke with those big, strong hands, making fists to underscore points. A master of what Franklin Roosevelt called the science of human relationships. He believed that to whom much was given, much is expected. And because life gave him so much, he gave back again and again and again.
You would have wanted him on your side. He never lost his sense of humor. Humor is the universal solvent against the abrasive elements of life. That's what humor is. He never hated anyone. He knew what his mother and my mother always knew. Hatred corrodes the container it's carried in.
So through our tears, let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you, a great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have. And in our grief, let us smile knowing that Dad is hugging Robin and holding Mom's hand again.
And joining us to discuss today's funeral is Super Neighborhood leader Tamaro Bell and former Republican congressional candidate Justin Laurie. You know, guys, in looking at the coverage today, in seeing the coverage on social media, what we felt today was a sense of oneness again. Despite us losing the 41st president at 94 years old, it felt different today in this country. It wasn't about bickering. It wasn't about going after each other based on party. But we all just mourned a great man.
The pride to have someone like that as our leader, you felt it today. When you look at everything that he did, bringing down the Berlin Wall, making sure Nelson Mandela was free, helping Kuwait become free. I mean, the American Disabilities Act, that changed marginalized people's lives for generations. It just gave you a sense of pride in the leadership of that position and what it represented. And then him as a man, the humility that he had, it never was about him. He was not that kind of person. I mean, being born into wealth as he was, whenever he would say that he made an achievement, they would always say, his mother would always say, now don't brag, George, don't brag. So he didn't have that mindset of it's about me. And you could tell that in the way he led and the way his life. I mean, it's just 73 years married to the same woman and writing his mom home when he's, in the war. I hope Barbara waits for me. I really love her. What 17-year-old really knows this is the woman for my life? And
he
be
knew
right.
He was
he
right.
knew, yes, yes.
Justin, your reflection on today and the services that we have seen. We know that the services will continue mainly here in Houston and in College Station tomorrow, and we will cover it here on Fox 26, so make sure you join us beginning early tomorrow morning. But back to you, Justin. When we take a look at today's services and what we saw with former President George Bush, your thoughts?
I'm hoping that one of the side effects from recanting this great life, all the public service that was discussed, from when he joined the Navy at 18 years old to then, I guess his first time back in public service is he ran for office, and he ran for office again, and then he went to the United Nations. And all that public service he did leading up to becoming a president, and of course the father of a president. I'm hoping that other young people who are now learning about him for the first time, who were born, let's say, after his time, after his administration, could say, what a great, admirable life he has lived. And I hope that I can live up to this type of expectation, type of community service, and type of giving back to the community. And they step forward and they say, I want to be more involved in my community, in government, and maybe even the armed services. He
was never shy, according to his biographer, not shy to say that his eye was on the prize. Back when he was in the military, he wanted to be president, and that was his focus, and he stayed the course, and he eventually became the president, not shy about saying it.
Yes, he was ambitious. I mean, even his friend said it, he was ambitious. And to have that ability, and I want to say when he had that life-changing moment when he was in the middle of the ocean by himself, and all of his crewmen were dead, and he figured, I'm gonna die, you know, or the Japanese will get me. I don't, you know, and he just cried and cried, not because of what he was in, but because he felt like he had failed and his comrades had died. And then he was spared. He never wanted God to think he made a mistake.
Right, right.
He never wanted to feel he let God down. And it's so rare for anybody to talk about their faith. He not only talked about it, he lived it, you know, and that's how he was able to achieve, because when he got knocked down, he got back up. He didn't win every race.
No,
he did.
We're going to continue this conversation when we come back. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We're talking to Super Neighborhood Leader Tamaro Bell and former Republican congressional candidate Justin Laurie about former President George H.W. Bush, whose funeral services got underway, a state funeral service in Washington, D.C. We will continue to have services here in Houston tomorrow. We will have coverage here live on Fox 26. We saw the surviving remaining presidents come together. Any shocking, any shocks there?
Okay, now they were together. They were together on the roll.
But they weren't together.
I'm going to say exactly, because if you noticed, before our current president came in, they were jovial, they were engaged, they were talking to each other and everything. And when he came and sat with them, I mean, it changed. I mean,
it changed the dynamics.
It changed the dynamics, and I mean, they just all sat and then just were quiet. Watch Hillary. She acknowledged Melania, and then they spoke, and then that was it. You know,
this is what he was elected for, to change things up.
Yeah, that's right.
At a funeral?
At a funeral? No.
He was polite. He did nothing wrong.
He did, exactly. He did nothing wrong.
It's that old boys club right there. And it's the way things have been. It's called the establishment of
Washington.
Old
boys? Hold on.
Well, it's called Drain the Swamp.
Obama is almost, 12, 13 years younger than him? This ain't no old boys club.
Don't take it literally, but we have establishment Washington. Let's call it the swamp. And Trump was elected.
The swamp is walking in now.
No,
they're coming to the swamp now. Okay.
Trump was elected to change things up because the citizens of America said, you know what? We had enough out of Washington, the way things have always been. We want something different. So if you see these former presidents all getting together and yada, yada, yada.
Let me ask you this really quick, Justin, before we run out of time. Do you think many Democrats are looking at President Bush and former Republicans who may have been president with kinder eyes because of President Trump?
Let's say this, that history always makes presidents look better in the rearview mirror. I'm not saying anything against
but people are looking like superstars these days.
But I'll tell you, Jimmy Carter is suddenly very popular. And Jimmy Carter was not a good president. Bill Clinton, when he left office in 2001,
left us in the black,
not in the red. His approval ratings were so low, you can't even mention it. It's so low. But now he's looked upon favorably, kinda, as long as Monica Lewinsky's name doesn't keep coming up. But so as we look out at history,
you just brought up.
So as we go forward, if people look back at this time and say, hey, you know what? It was a great bipartisan.
No, they will not. They will not. It's not a bipartisan. Okay, not a bipartisan era at all. And one thing about it, I don't care what anybody say. Al Simpson, some of his comments were directly at Trump. Selfish, not caring about keeping the country together, all about himself, all about his ideology. That is not what you do as a leader. As a leader, you are supposed to bring, it is a nation. It's not one nation. It's not this, it's everybody. Bush did that. You would hope, as you said, you want the young people to take lessons. I hope Bush Bush is giving Trump lessons on how to be a president.
There was a moment that
I was going to say Obama was the most divisive president we've ever had. He
only to people who didn't like what they saw in the White House.
He did not. The personality.
He went out his way when he had the House and the Senate to make them feel like they belong.
30 seconds.
Obama, he was the person who really crafted all those different groups of people. He made the videos that said, Latinos, Latinas, you must come and vote for us. All this identity politics, which is by absolute definition the most divisive way to operate.
What did Trump say? Who was his favorite people? What did he say?
Who was Trump's favorite people? The American citizen.
Please, he said the uneducated and uninformed. Those are his favorite people.
I'm a highly educated, highly informed person. I stand highly behind.
You didn't make the list.
I'm glad he's president.
And we want to thank you for using your smarts here on the Factor Uncensored.
Thank you.